What is up, YouTube? James Polk here. First things first, hope everyone is doing super well, being safe at home under this quarantine virus and all that. And what I decided to do, of all things, like life is hard, so I thought to myself, you know what? I want to decided to showcase Volcanics of all things. And the reason why I decided to do Volcanics of all decks, it is because like before Secret Slayers and Eternity Code came through, I decided to see how functional Volcanics can do super well. And like in terms of the meta matchups, like Shaddolls, Salamangrades, Orchists if they're still playable. And this is before the Animancipator and Eldritch came through. It pretty much shuts down everything and anything in terms of overcommitting boards if coming up with the proper setup. And basically, the deck's condition is nuke, burn, and poke. So first things first. On the other hand, before we get to the profile, so shout outs to my great friend Nadia in terms of helping me getting the missing volcanic cards. And then another shout out to another person in a Yu-Gi-Oh community in the world, Pain96. I know you're out there somewhere in this Yu-Gi tubing world, counting your days in terms of volcanic support. So hope you get yours in the near future. And then this volcanic profile is a tribute to Sorab Pasakani, aka Sox, for back in 2015 as a YCS Charleston when he went undefeated in Swiss and lost out in top 32. But again, a little tributing profile for him. So without further ado, let's get to it. So first things first, set that out the way. 3, Volcanic Rocket. This is your play starter of the deck. Gets to your Blaze Accelerator card from deck or graveyard to hand. You always want to see it at all times when it comes to going first. And you should be able to facilitate throughout the combo plays. And triple scatter shot. When it comes to scatter shot, this is your win condition of the deck. Which is to, if it gets sent to the graveyard, you burn your opponent for 500. So if you happen to send it to the graveyard just because of a Blaze Accelerator card, you can pretty much send 2 more scatter shots from hand or deck to your graveyard, so that way you don't dare draw them. You pretty much blow up your opponent's monster board on their field. So you rather wait it out until they decided to overcommit as much. And as an added bonus, all 3 scatter shots into the grave, 1500 damage. And then triple Volcanic Shell. The heavy artillery of the deck. Not on once per turn, while Shell's in the graveyard, pay 500 points just to add a copy of Shell from deck to hand. And then 2 Firestorm Guards. 2 Royal Firestorm Guards to be exact, not 3. Like technically I used to try 3, but it generally doesn't do anything when you're going first. So it actually clogs in terms of going first, and you have no pyros in your graveyard. So I pretty much had to cut it down from 3 to 2, which totally makes sense. And in this particular version, because you paid so much points off from volcanic shells or wildfire as much, or taking damage off from the burn and all that, I happen to play 2 rare resonators. And the more important effect is about the special summoning effect, which is to target 1 monster anywhere on the field, you gain life equal to the targeted monster's attack. And then when it's normal summon, you pretty much special summon any level 4 or lower monster from your hand. And then 2 Ash Blossom, because it's fire, nothing to say. Volcanic Counter. And Pyrorex, the Elemental Lord. When it comes to the Volcanic counter, in case Scattershot can't get the job done, which it sometimes goes wrong, then you pretty much can blaze it. Just so that in terms of major life points difference, if you're in the upper hand or in a winning position, like if they had something that's like over 3,000 trying to touch you, they could just end up gaming themselves. And then Pyrorex, amazing spot removal in terms of Ring of Destruction of Elemental Lords, and the only way to special summon him out is exactly 5 fires in your graveyard, no over, no under. Then, if Pyrorex for some reason leaves the field no matter where it goes, I end up losing the next battle phase. So generally, it don't make a difference when it comes to losing the battle phase, when you could just pretty much do the burn. And what's pretty good about Pyrorex as well is that like if you have cards in your main decks that help you generate or dodging the effect negations, you can make those certain cards get their effects off if needed to. So that's that for the monsters. And then for the spells, Foolish Burial, sending the shell, 1-for-1 special summon shell, Wildfire. This is your chainable dark hole. Like, I already know for that fact that most Volcanic players don't even play this card, but to me personally, I considered it because most times it's where, like, if my opponent were expect to either shuffle it back or to clear out the cards, I could just chainable dark hole, aka Wildfire, by paying 500 points and sending a face-up blaze from your side of the field to the grave, which hurts you that a little much. It lets you generate a token, and then like it wipes out your it wipes out the whole monster board first, and then it lets you generate the Wildfire token. The thing is, you can't do no battle, so again, it doesn't make a difference. And then 2 Magic Planters. Magic Planters are absolutely insane. It turns your dead floodgates into +1s, which is absolute reckless. And then Foolish Berry Goods to send off Blaze Accelerator Reload. And then this is the card I was telling you about dodging the effect Veilers or any other effect negation in general that isn't Ash Blossom, which is Circle of the Fire Kings. And when it comes to Circle of the Fire Kings, target 1 fire monster you control, it gets destroyed, and then you get to revive another fire monster from your graveyard back to your field, which is absolutely insane. And then for the traps, triple Blaze Accelerator Reloads. This is what makes the deck. During either player's main phase, you ditch a Volcanic card and draw a card. And then while it's in the graveyard, during either player's main phase, you can send a Volcanic from dead to graveyard by banishing the Blaze Reloads. And then triple Reckless. Always draw cards is really good. Jar Avarice. This is just to recycle Scatter Shots. And along with any other spell trap cards of what's really important to you, just so you can draw out your win condition cards of the deck. And then triple Call of the Haunted. And Oasis of Dragon Souls. And then triple Phoenix Shine. Spiritual Fire Arc Kernai. This is another effect dodging track cards. So again, same concept as Circle of the Fire Kings when it comes to the effect dodging scenario, as if like your opponent tries to Veiler you or Ghost Ogre you. Spiritual Fire Art sometimes gets the job done in case of Volcanic Scattershot can't get the nuking effect off, or the Volcanic counter as well. The case about Spiritual Fire Art Kernai is that you tribute a fire monster, and it deals damage to your opponent, equal to the monster's original type. It steals gains for quite some time. And then the Paleozoic Leoncolia. So when it comes to Leoncolia, it lets you target one banished card of your target one banished card anywhere. It lets you put it back to the graveyard. So it lets you put back the Blaze reloads back to the graveyard just so that you can facilitate your Scattershot plays over and over again like it's meant to do. And then extra deck. Triple Hita, it's fire, and when it comes to versus Settlement Great matchups, always steal the Balinxes so that they can't save it. 2 Wolf, not 3, because in this particular version of the build, Wolf's purposes is mainly about grabbing the fire monster from graveyard to hand, with the likes of Ash Blossom, for example. And if you have Royal Firestone Guards, in which are already in the grave, you can actually get it out of your way so you can recycle your scatter shots along with more pyros as of the following play after. And then 2 Heat Leo spins back 1 back row, not once per turn. And then if you somehow reincarnation link it, and then it lets you target a monster anywhere on board while you target 1 in your graveyard. Its attack becomes equal to as the 1 from the graveyard. Link Rebo, Volcanic Shells level 1. Clara and Rushka is just so that if you cannot get to have a chance to link into Hita, then you can go straight to Clara and Rushka just so that you can pretty much play while you're expecting to see Secret Village. That's that for the links. And then for the Super Polys, Earth Golem Adagnister, Salaman Greats, and Adagnisters. Predator and Dragos Stapelia, that'll be Shaddolls, or like Invoke Shaddolls. And then the specific matchups when it comes to machines in general, that would be Blaze Phoenix, the Burning Bombardment Bird, and Ignition Beast Volcanic. So when it comes to the fusion requirements of the Blaze Phoenix and the Ignition Beast, 1 machine plus 1 pyro. So as for the machines, that would be the likes of Cyber Dragons, ABCs, and Orchists. And when it comes to Blaze Phoenix, if you use Blaze Phoenix's effect, Blaze Phoenix cannot attack. The case is burn your opponent for 300 for every card on board, including himself. And then Ignition Beast Volcanic, when this card is fusion summoned, it lets you target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it along with Ignition Beast. Then your opponent takes damage equal to its attack, which is absolute nuts. And then for the rest of the extra deck, that would be Dagusta Emerald, Recycling Scatter Shots, and Tornado Dragon. In case of back row hates, sometimes you always want to pop your own Blazes or any other dead Floodgates, which is pretty good. And then side, Typhoon, back row hates. To Imperial Iron Wall, that's for Infernoids, of course. Ceasefire for the burn. Magic Cylinder, for some reason, like when it comes to specific matchups like the Invokes, if they ever go straight into either Mechaba or Purgatrio, for Mechaba, if they don't have a track card in their hand, even though when they pitch Alistair, you could just pretty much cylinder them as like a last resort. And then triple Share Ride. 2 Super Polys. And then the limited red reboots. Goes a match. I happen to expect to see Invoke Shaddolls. Yeah, Invoke Shaddolls at the very most, because most of the times they go into either invoke fusions or even window construct. So you could just like pretty much shut them down with Gozen. Same concept with Rivalry of the Warlords, but for types. And then 2 anti-spell fragrance. Generally, it doesn't hurt you as much when it comes to the anti-spell fragrance when you're running most traps. And with that being said, this is James Polk on this Volcanic profile. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, be safe.